Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Jennifer Teasdale and welcome to Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about spin and pelvic floor and core dysfunction. So I'm just going to say right off the hop, I do love a good spin class, and I'm going to talk a lot about sort of what the guidelines should be around taking a spin class if you have pelvic floor and core dysfunction, because there really isn't any out there. We're sort of left to our own devices to figure it out, not figure it out, or what have you. So I don't want you to get discouraged. I want you to feel successful and empowered that you can take part in these classes. So just one thing about core and pelvic floor dysfunction: when we're in a spin class or doing anything athletically or in life, you need to keep proper intra-abdominal pressure, which is going to be maintained through the alignment of your diaphragm and your pelvic floor, stacking the two on top of one another and breathing into that canister or that can, abdominal wall and low back. If those three things can't be maintained, then you're likely going to have symptoms of pelvic floor dysfunction or core dysfunction. So being able to maintain those three things is the key. And how we're going to do that in a spin class is find a spin class that meets us where our functional capacity is. So that means beats per minute or cadence, and then add on choreography. I'm not going to talk a lot about choreography because choreography is always something you choose to do. You don't have to do it, okay? And I wouldn't do it if you can't keep the cadence, and without, if you're keeping the cadence and you don't have pelvic floor dysfunction or core dysfunction, you keep the cadence, then you can add the choreography. If you have pelvic floor and core dysfunction, that tells you the cadence is too fast and you're not ready to add on that choreography, okay? So cadence is based on beats per minute in the song. So every song has a beat per minute. Songs run 50 to 220 beats per minute-ish. I'm not a musician, so feel free to tag anything you want to say below. In a spin class, a slower spin class is 150 to 170 beats per minute. This is fairly reasonable to keep up with. You can find the beat, you feel like you're in sync, you can probably have a conversation. 170 to 200 beats per minute, now it's getting a little fast. You probably can't talk through a lot of it, especially if you're adding any of the choreography. And then the third one is 200 to 220 beats per minute. That's really fast, really fast. You might be having a really hard time keeping the choreography and you're just trying to keep up with the instructor. So at any point in time when you're sent to go on your journey of a spin class to get some high intensity exercise, my guideline is you start in that lower cadence or beat per minute range of 150 to 170. You see if you have any symptoms. If you don't have any symptoms, awesome. Then maybe you're going to add the choreography of the class. Maybe you've already done so. Maybe you want to try somebody else with a higher cadence class. So maybe they're going to do 170 to 200. You're going to check in with your symptoms again. This is really important because oftentimes we end up in a studio and we're doing a class that's 200, 220 beats per minute, and we have no idea, and we feel really discouraged because we have all those symptoms that I mentioned earlier, and we think, well, spin isn't for us, or I'm just not ready, or I'm too broken for spin. But realistically, that's not true. It just means that you're just in the wrong class for you, okay? So how do you find out the beats per minute or the cadence that your instructors are using? You're going to have to ask them. You're going to have to call the studio, email the studio. You're going to have to ask, look, out of your instructors, is there instructors that use, slower, maybe a bit slower music, or maybe some of the newer instructors? Kind of give me an idea of what I'm after before I go into the spin class, so that you can be set up for success. Okay, so the goal here is, in review, 3 things we want to maintain in any spin class. Number 1 is intra-abdominal pressure, and how we do that is through stacking the diaphragm and the pelvic floor at any point in the class, all choreography included, okay? And then breathing into that 360-degree canister, so out to the abdominal wall and into the back with good alignment and keeping good pressure. When we're doing that, if we're at a cadence that works for us, we shouldn't have any pelvic floor dysfunction or core dysfunction or symptoms during or after the class. If we do, that class ain't for you. You're going to see if you can find something a little bit slower, and if you can't find something slower, then maybe you're going to go work on the spin bike in the gym at your own pace until you can get those things, and then you're slowly going to add on. It's like this. If you're a runner, you're going to love this analogy. You don't take 6 months off of running and then decide that you're going to sprint 5K right off the hop. No, No, that's just not something you're gonna do, right? We all understand that. Spinning is no different. You're not gonna take 6 months off postpartum, hit a spin class, keep up with Jane in the front row,